This is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at a mod called the DG-100. And with this mod, we don't have any options, so let's just spawn this up so you can take a look at it. And when you look at this thing, you think airplane. But I was always taught airplanes have to have some sort of power source. This doesn't have a power source, it's just a glider. Or if you want to be really, really particular about it, it's a sailplane. But I think just saying glider is good enough for most of you guys. So the thing about gliders is you have to find a way to get them into the air. We have a couple of options of what we can do. Number one is we could try to pull it with a vehicle, which will probably go terribly. Number two is we could just teleport it into the air like this and then fly it from there. But that feels really, really lame. So here's option three. Option three is kind of in between those. It's a realistic way of launching a glider, and it should work relatively well. The first thing we need to do is get to the launch zone. Not really like a specific zone for the glider, but it's a place I've found that works great for it. If we go all the way over to this very specific spot on this mountain, we can place the broken remains of the glider and reset it so it's a full glider. And then what we do is we want to pull it off of the hill. So we just grab it with the node grabber. It doesn't really need too much strength. 30 should be fine. And all we're going to do is we're going to pull it a little bit upward so it gets over that rock, and then it's in flight. Just like that, the glider is gliding. And I see something I got to try, actually. You see that arch down there? Well, we're going to fly through that. Not from this angle, because that'd be way too steep of a dive to try to do with this thing. I'd probably tear the wings off. We're going to do a little loop around, and then we're going to go through there. Also, with this being a glider, we're going to crash immediately afterwards because I don't think there's any real way for me to get out of there after I'm in there. And then after this initial flight, I'll go into a little bit more detail how you fly this thing. But right now, just enjoy seeing the glider glide and hopefully going under that arch without crashing. I don't know how much clearance I actually have to do this. I don't even know if it'll fit, to be 100% honest with you. It looks like it should from, a quarter mile in the air. And from right here, it still looks like it'll fit. It's going to be a tight fit, but I think we can get it in between. We just got to stay right in the middle, like we're doing. And there we go. We fit no problem. Now, can we get out of here at all? No, let's land on the building. Can we land on the buildings gracefully? Yes, we can. I actually expected that to go terribly, but it's fully intact. I have no idea what you would do with it after it's on the building, but it's intact. I guess you could reset it. So let's go ahead and go over the controls on this thing. And it's a lot more fun to go over the controls when you're actually flying versus just on the ground. Unless, of course, you're an actual pilot trying to learn how to fly a plane, in which case the other way would be very, very frightening. So again, we'll get this thing into the air same way as before. It is now in the air. And I've actually been flying this thing with both the keyboard and the controller, depending on exactly what I want to do. But going over the controls, I'm just going to talk about the ones on the controller. If you want to see the controls for the keyboard, they are there listed in the top right corner for reference. The only real difference is on the elevators and ailerons. You use the left analog stick on the controller, and on the keyboard, you use the arrow keys. So for the controller, you go up and down on the controller to do up and down on the elevators. And then the ailerons, you do left and right to go left and right with those. And those are all controlled with one analog stick. That's it. It's pretty simple, actually. The only other thing you need for actual flight is the left and right triggers to control the rudder going left and right. And those are the only three controls you need to fly this thing. Everything else is just extra additions. For example, we can hit X to use the air brake, which you saw me doing earlier when I went under the arch. We can also hit A to raise and lower the gear. Yes, there's only one wheel on this plane, which for me has made it really tricky to land because I can't seem to land it without crashing the wings into the ground a little bit, no matter how hard I try. So we'll go ahead and put the landing gear up because it's just going to slow us down. And then we also have two controls which are a little bit more unusual because you probably don't know what they actually do. We have the Vario and the Wind. The Vario, if you're familiar with planes, that one probably makes some sense to you. If you turn it on, it'll beep at you, and it beeps differently depending on if you're climbing or if you're descending. Very useful for when you're trying to use the Wind, which is the other button we have there. So with the Wind, if we hit the left bumper, it says Thermal Simulation Offline, Thermal Simulation Easy Level, and then Advanced Level. And you're probably like, well, what does that even mean? Basically, in real life, if you're flying a glider and you need to gain some elevation, you need to find hot air that's rising and then use that hot air to gain height. That's all related to that, and I'll show you exactly how that works after we do a quick little crash. I want to just clip the wing a little bit, and there we go. The plane is now out of control, It's lost all of its wings, and it has now slowly crashed into a tree. So there's what it looks like when you crash it. And let's go ahead and reset it. We're going to be taking a look at the inside of the plane, but again, we need to get in the air first. So we grab the plane, and then we pull it. I'm not even going to look at the plane this time. I'm just going to pull it to there and hope that's sufficient. Oh no, it really wasn't. Come on, plane. You can get in the air. You can do it. All right, we are in the air somehow. That was a disaster. So now we're going to go to the inside of the plane. And on this plane, we only have 5 gauges, which doesn't feel like a lot, but when you don't have to worry about the engines and stuff, you don't need nearly as many gauges. So over on the left, we have speed. In the middle, we have altitude. And then on the right, we have rate of descent and rate of climb. So right now, we are slowly descending. And then in the bottom left, I'm actually not sure what that one was. I forgot that one was there. And then over on the bottom right, that one's a little helper gauge that tells us where the closest thermal is. And a thermal is basically just a small localized area where the hot air is rising up. If you had to visualize it, it's kind of like an invisible tornado where the air is moving very, very slowly. So let's turn the Vario on to make it a little bit easier to find one of these thermals. Now we're just going to go in the direction the gauge points. And then when we're lined up with the gauge going straight, eventually we're going to hit the thermal. And we should be able to tell visually when we hit it as well. We don't actually need to use the gauge. It just makes it a lot easier to find it. And I think we're hitting it right now. So you can see we are going up. The gauge is telling us we are climbing really steady. And then we went out of the thermal and now we're falling. So what you would do is you would find the center of the thermal. And then you would circle around that central point enough times until you've gained the elevation you want. And once you've done that, you can continue flying in whatever direction you want. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing that because it does take some time and there's really not much to look at because you're just doing the same thing over and over waiting for yourself to climb. Instead, I'm going to crash into this tree. That sounds like a fun thing to do. Oh, I didn't actually crash into it completely. We're still flying a bit. Oh, now we're not. We are done. I think we have 1 wing left, but that is not enough to control the plane. And that is what a first-person crash looks like in the glider. And the glider is a plane, just not an airplane, by the way, before anybody says anything dumb. So here is a look at the damage, and we're going to go ahead and reset it. This will probably be the last time I'm in the inside of the plane, so let's take a look at some of the interior functionality before we move on. When you activate and deactivate the air brake, there's a lever that moves back and forth on the upper left side of the plane. And then when you raise and lower the gear, there is a lever in the bottom left side of the plane. When you move the joystick moves just as you expect it to, which sounds kind of funny, but I'm moving the joystick on the controller to move the joystick in the plane. And also for the rudder, there are pedals there that are moving, but they're kind of hard to see. So let me get a better camera angle in there. There you go. So you can see those moving back and forth. And then, of course, as you already saw, the gauges seem to work perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and get this thing into the air one last time. This time, oh no, I have never seen that before. I've really broken it now. Anyways, this time I want to get this thing into the air and try to land it. That's going to be my goal. And then after that, we're going to try to launch it different ways because with a glider, there are actually 2 other ways I want to try launching it. Number 1 is pulling it with a regular vehicle, and number 2 is pulling it with an airplane. Both of those are legitimate ways of launching a glider, and I want to see if they work. Also, there is one thing you gotta watch out for with the glider I've noticed. If you do a dive where you're going at a high speed and you try to pull up, you're gonna be fine most of the time. But if you do a dive and then you try moving left and right, that can damage the plane. So like we're diving pretty hard right there, going fast. We pull straight back, it's okay. But if we try to go left and right at those kinds of speeds, it will usually cause some damage. So just be careful with that. Now, where do we want to land this thing? I know there's an airstrip somewhere around here. I'm not exactly sure where that is and if that's even the best option for me because I don't have a lot of precision. That is not my strength. But if you give me a wide open field, that might be a better place for me to try to land, I really don't know. Let's see. Where is the airport? I think it's on pretty much the exact opposite end of the map. We're going to try to make our way there, but I don't know if the glider will make it. We'll see. What I would have to probably do is I would have to find some thermals to help me along. But like I said, watching somebody go up a thermal is kind of boring. Doing it yourself, pretty cool. Because it's a really unique thing that I've never done in BeamNG. But watching somebody go in circles isn't the most interesting thing to see. So if we don't make it to the airport, what we're going to do is we're just going to land wherever we are and do the best with whatever terrain I'm above. We got a good amount of height though, so we might be able to make it. We'll see what happens. The plane is in perfect condition. I got nothing to worry about there. Just going to keep going nice and easy with it. And I think right over there in that far corner right above my wing. That's above my left wing, I should specify. Well, that's about where we want to go, I think. Let's see if we can make it all the way over there. This is a pretty big map, so I don't know if it'll make it. And why is it swaying to the left? Oh, there's probably a thermal that pushed me that way. I mean, in a way, that's a good thing. Maybe it got me extra height, but also it pushed me in the wrong direction. There you go, lining myself back up. Why is the camera not straight on either? It looks like the rudder is all crooked even when the camera's straight. There we go. Just the plane is just flying a little crooked. Okay, plane, you do what you want, man. I ain't gonna tell you what to do. You just glide through the air all graceful as you can. Try to get to that airport. If I can't make it to the airport, we got the highway. We could try to land on the highway, but I'm pretty sure I'll lose both of my wings trying to do that. We also got the docks over there. That might have a nice big open area, because I know that area of the map is not fully complete. So I think there's some wide open areas, so maybe we'll just try to make our way over there. I feel like I'm going really, really slowly, but that's what gliders do. They go very slow. No engines. How much height have we lost? We haven't lost that much height, though. Have we? What speed are we going? We are going pretty slow. We can speed this up a bit, drop some height. Oh, that's actually kind of cool watching it fly like this. I have no idea where the ground is or what angle I'm flying at, but it's neat. All right, we can make it to the airport. Yeah, sure, why not? We're going to try it. We still got a good distance above all the buildings and stuff, so we might be able to make it over to the airport if it's actually over there. I think I can see some of it. It's really hard to tell. I hope that's the airport. Otherwise, my glider is going to crash. Although, I don't know. It is going to be really close. I'm either going to crash into the water or make it to the airport, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I can overshoot it. I feel like I'm starting to fall right now because I'm running out of momentum from that last little dip. So we got to dip down a bit, but I got to make sure I have enough height to get over those rocks and that castle wall and all that. All right, we should be good just going straight ahead. Straight ahead, right over it. Yep, we're good. I go a little to the left. That is definitely the airport. That is where I want to land. We are going to make it. This is going to work. It does take a while to do this. This plane is not fast. But it's going to make it. I bet $28.37 that we're going to make it. Yep. At this point in time, I know with 100% certainty, we will make it to the airstrip. Will we land good? I don't know. I'm going to do my best, but like I've said, I've never landed this thing well. The hardest thing for me is just trying to keep it level enough. But most of the time I was landing in fields that were really, really bumpy. This is the first time I was actually landing on a nice flat surface, which might make things a lot easier. So here we go. Landing at any moment. Not yet. Not yet. It looks so close to the ground. It's going to make contact at any moment. Oh, there was a bit more distance between me and the ground than I thought. But we made it. And it seems unharmed. So I would consider that a successful landing. It might have been a little uncomfortable because that last part was a little rough, but it was a good landing. So now we're going to try to launch the plane into the air with another vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the plane all the way back to the very start of the runway. And now we need to grab a vehicle to pull this thing. So let's go with something with all-wheel drive and a lot of power. SBR4, all-wheel drive, twin turbo stage 2. That sounds excellent. And is it going to spawn up inside of the wing? Yes, it will, ever so slightly, it looks like. Oh, yeah, that's inside of the wing. On the other hand, it did straighten out the plane, so I'll consider that a victory for me. So I'll park the car right in front of it, save that spot. And just in case the wing of the plane got damaged, I'll go ahead and freshen up the plane. And that's not what I expected to happen. That's supposed to make it level. There we go. That was weird. And then we need something connected to. We're going to be using the XL ball-to-ball giant chain, which is a mod. So you need to download this if you want this. But there's no other real good way to connect to vehicles with a rope or anything that's built into the game. So I'll pull this thing out from under the plane, make sure it's not stuck inside of it, because that can happen sometimes. And I'll put this side over by the car, but what I need to do is I need to add a trailer hitch to that car. Or the easy thing I could do is I could just tear off the bumper and attach it to there. But I feel like using a trailer hitch this time. It sounds like a fun way of doing it. So let's find the trailer hitch and try to make this at least a little bit realistic here. There we go. Tow hitch is on. So we grab this side, and we're going to just use the node grabber to attach it. We could use the whole trailer hitch system, but the node grabber works better because I can use the same attachment system on both vehicles instead of being node grabber on one and trailer hitch on the other one. So on this, we want to make sure we attach to the underside of the vehicle. If you attach it up here, that's not going to work. If you attach it down there, that's the good spot. That's a nice, strong, sturdy spot if you can actually get it to work. There we go. We are ready to go, I think. I'm going to turn off stability control because it probably has no idea what's going on with the towing happening. And I want to get the slack out of the chain. I don't want to yank the plane, and now the plane is moving, so we floor it and see what happens. I just got to try to keep it as straight as I can. If the plane gets too crooked, it probably can pull me. We are going almost 70 miles per hour, over 70 miles per hour. We are definitely moving, and I have gone way crooked from the plane. It's actually going in the air already. You can see that. Let's see how high, how fast we can get it before it kind of becomes uncontrollable. I want to hit 100 miles per hour. Oh, it wants to fly. It wants to fly. That's close enough to 100 miles per hour. Let's get that chain out of here. So for the chain, I'm pretty sure I'm the chain right now. So I hit reset, and then we go to the plane, and we should be able to fly it. Yep, that worked perfectly. Plane is in the air. I don't think there's any, there's a little bit of damage to where the node was attached, but otherwise it's flying fine. We got no problems with that. Landing gear up, and we're flying. Well, that worked perfectly. Although, oh no, what happened to my car? I'm sorry, car. I just forgot about you. You went and wrecked into a wall, and I almost did the same to the plane. I forgot about both of you, and I wrecked both of you. Now we're going to get this plane, and we're going to do something with it. I want to land it on the runway again. That's too easy. We already did that. Let's try something more difficult. Let's try to land it on one of the buildings over there if it'll make it. That's a bit of a stretch for distance. I don't know. We'll see. It might be able to make it. Now, obviously, I'm not good enough to actually land it on there. I don't expect this to work. I'm just going to hopefully get close. And it looks like we do have enough speed, thankfully. So this should be interesting. And it looks like I got two chances here. We could land by the parking spots, or we could land on the building. I think we're going to probably have to land on the building, though, because we are coming into this a little bit faster than I was expecting. I want to get this thing straightened out and make sure I don't hit those trees, but we got to get real low, real fast to try to land on that white thing. We'll just go full slow down, see if it'll make it. No, we're going too fast. It's not going to make it. Nuh-uh. Let's go into the building instead. Pull up, pull up, pull up. Oh, that's not bad. I thought that was going to go a lot worse, but we actually ended on the destination, so I consider that a magnificent success. Now, let's try launching the plane with another plane. And to do this, we're going to be using another mod. We're going to be using the Cessplane L19, and we got so many color options here. I just feel like going with the US Army color. All that really matters is that it has wheels and it's not a plane for the water. So go ahead and put it right in front of the other plane and maybe line it up correctly because it's not lined up on the runway properly. I'll just do that by hand. Just grab the node and whip it around, reset it, and save that spot. Perfect. So we're going to use the same chain, which is really less than ideal. Like, you don't want a chain this heavy to be doing that, honestly, because it's going to mess up the flight of both of the planes. But it's the best I got. So one side is attached. Now we go and attach the other side. And again, we're going to be using a spot slightly under the plane, like so. Perfect. Everything is good to go. We're going to go ahead and accelerate slowly to get the slack out of the line. I think there might be a little bit right near the glider. Let me just inch it forward. Yeah, there's a little bit there. Okay, now there's no slack in the line, so we're good to go. So we're going to go full speed with my little itty-bitty Cessna. And will it go fast enough? And will it be able to get this thing in the air? That is the question we're going to be figuring out. I'm actually trying pretty hard just to keep it in a straight line. You see my rudder, how much it's moving back and forth? That's me trying to keep this thing straight. And I don't think we're really accelerating much, so let's see if we can get into the air, I guess, because we're not going to go much faster than this. Oh, no, this is not the greatest. Well, it's kind of working. Oh, no. Okay, you know what's happening? Well, this plane is just too small. The wings on the glider are so big, it just kind of overpowers what my plane can do, and then it just crashes the glider. So obviously, the solution is we need a bigger plane. How much bigger? Overkill big. We're going to go with an Avro Aero. This thing was never intended for this kind of stuff, but we're going to use it anyways. Hopefully there's a good place to attach this chain because I actually haven't looked into this. I just need something like right in the middle by the rear of the plane. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. Attach it right there. And then we attach the chain to the glider. Just got to make sure it doesn't get tangled in the wing. So it's kind of over the wing, so we got to pull it over the wing. And then we attach it to the exact same spot if the camera will cooperate. All right, everything seems good to go. So let's see what happens. I'm just going to go full speed basically on this thing. I'm almost certain this is just going to cause the glider to break, but I want to see what happens. First, though, we got to remove the slack. Slack is gone. And then here we go. Max speed activated. Can you imagine being behind this thing? You're trying not to go death and also not be lit on fire. Those are your two goals right there. So here we go. Up into the air. And then how is the glider doing back there? Let's find out. You got some pieces that got way stretched out. And then you got just a little piece right there. I think it's safe to say this did not work. It did exactly what I expected, though. So in a way, it's a success. Let's go ahead and get the chain out of there. And then we can watch the plane kind of fumble its way through the air for a little bit. It's actually way up in the air. That thing is so fast that we are higher than the glider's ever been in just mere seconds. At least I'm pretty sure that's higher than it's ever been. Uh-oh, I think the airplane crashed because it's instability detected and had to unfreeze physics. Well, okay. Everything went bad there. Let's try this again. I want to see for certain, are the wings coming off because we're going too fast, or is it because I was pulling up too hard, or did I crash the glider into something? I want to know which one it is. I think it was just I was going too fast, but I want to confirm this. So we're attaching the chain just as we did before. And this time, instead of looking at where I'm going, I'm going to look behind me at the glider and watch what happens to it. And we are now ready to go. Go ahead and accelerate real slow. Try to get the slack out of the chain. And with this plane being so heavy, I don't think we need to worry too much about the slack because it just kind of yanks the little glider along. And, all right, that looks good. Full speed in it. Let's see how violent this gets. Also, it's kind of hard to keep this thing in a straight line when the controls are like reversed of what you see, but I'm doing the best I can. All right, so far so good. Oh yeah, okay, it's just pure speed. We go way too fast and everything goes terribly. There's the answer. How about we try one more time at this, but we're gonna disconnect the glider before we get to those speeds. I know about what speed I was going, I think, so I just have to make sure it's before that we disconnect it and it should be able to fly. I don't know exactly what will happen, though, because I'm assuming it's going to be going way, way faster than the glider was ever intended to fly. So if we try to do any sort of flight, it might just break immediately afterwards anyways, but I want to see what happens. So just yank that thing along. I don't care. Full speed ahead. Super fast. Arrow. You know, it's funny, the difference between these things. Like this thing, you fly it, man, you're moving. The glider, it's like you're walking. So how fast are we going? Over the limits of the speedometer. Look at that. Okay, we are moving. So let's get rid of the chain and then let's see what it looks like when we fly. I am not trying to lift up. That is just the speed that I have is pulling me upwards. And then it scrubbed off a lot of speed. But just like that, look at how high we are. We are way up in the air. Basically, in like 5 seconds, we got this high. We're probably pulling some serious G's right there for a glider. Like, it's not nearly as much as you could probably pull with the actual jet, but for a glider, man, that's crazy. Now that I think about it, I haven't done any slow motion crashes with this thing. So let's have one of those real quickly. I'm just going to dive right into the ground over here, and then I'll get some slow-mo going so you can see what it looks like in slow-mo. How about 16 times slow-mo, and now we just watch. There we go. That is what a crash in slow motion looks like. I like the wings. They just kind of fall off without getting damaged at all. It's like, I'm out of here. That one, like, it looks like it's actually flying away, doesn't it? Camera wants to look downward, so we can't really see it, but there it goes. It just, like, floats. That's cool. Anyways, I want to try this at Leap of Death. I think it might work at Leap of Death because it's a glider. You put it at the top, and then you glide it to the bottom. Let's go ahead and spawn up the plane, and it doesn't matter where I spawn it up because I'm going to have to teleport it probably anyways, so we'll put it inside the rock a little bit. That's fine. I don't care because, boom, it's not inside of the rock anymore. Now, to get it off of here, we have two options. Just as before, we could yank it, or we could use a vehicle and pull it off the edge. I think yanking it will work a little bit better because we can be more precise because I need to avoid the ramp. Because if we crash into the ramp, that's bad news. So yank, 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 and are we clear? Yeah, just barely. So what I want to do is I want to do a dive and see just how fast this thing can go. But first, I want to get above the center of Leap of Death, or at least closer to it. That looks pretty good. We're going to go on the inside here so we can see just how fast we're going. And it's time to dive. All right, we're now over 250, 300. We are maxed out here, and we are still accelerating, I'm pretty sure. Oh, would you look at this? I am pushing hard to get this thing to dive, and it is just not enough. It is leveling itself out because it cannot dive that fast. That is interesting. Okay. Well, let's go to the outside again and see. Did anything break? No, it looks like it's all good. We still have full control over the aircraft. That is excellent news. You know what that means? It means we can dive again. Let's go ahead and go over to the middle again. Just let it coast for a bit. And then let's dive. Might be a little too close to the edge. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This time I'm doing it from the outside so I can actually see what it looks like. All right, pull up, pull up, pull up. Pull up. Oh, that was good. Oh, no. No, 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 no. It broke. The elevators are broke, I think. Yeah. Elevators do not work. We still have the rudders and the ailerons. No, we do not have. Yes, we do have aileron. Sort of. They just didn't look like they were moving at first. That was weird. But with no elevator, you're kind of screwed. You can't go up and down, so you can just kind of steer tiny bits. You're not going to be able to fly like that. You're just going to crash like I did. So I think that's about going to do it for this video. Until next time, this has been WhyBeAre. And remember, if you like or dislike this video, I will know. I can tell by the thermals of the air. So do the right thing, and I'll see you next time.